It would be a rare marriage to begin without a complete vow of love to one another, and without a hope that this marriage would grow and be life-giving for years to come. The proof of that would not just be the wedding day, but it would be the day in and day out living of that fidelity in marriage for many, many years. And the love would grow and deepen with those years. God today, through the prophet Jeremiah, compares his relationship with the people as that of a husband to his bride. He says, I remember the devotion of your youth, how you loved me as a bride, following me in the desert and being faithful. And that was when they escaped Egypt, and they were going through the desert on their way to the promised land. And they made it to the promised land, but the honeymoon was soon over because they soon turned away from God. They started to worship pagan gods. He says that you built cisterns with your own hands. Religiosity doesn't come from things we build with our hands. It comes from what God builds within our hearts. And that was what he was trying to get them to understand. And he says in the parables, some people just harden themselves to the truth. And that's why they don't even understand. And Jesus uses parables because it kind of shakes up their complacency. It makes them stop and look at what they're doing. How blessed are your eyes because they see, and your ears because they hear. What makes you come into this very hot and uncomfortable church tonight? It's because of your relationship with Christ. That no matter what, you want to be united with him in the Holy Eucharist, to be fed at the table of his word and the table of his body and blood. And so we come because we long to deepen that relationship with Christ. And indeed, we truly are blessed. We live in a world that has chosen to turn their thoughts away from God, choosing not to come where God is. When 2/3 of our Catholic people never come to church, it's what they were doing in the Old Testament, rebelling against God and wanting to place their hopes and dreams on things that fall away, things that destroy. And so he says that you're building cisterns, but they don't work. They're empty. He says, I came to bring you life-giving water. In the waters of baptism, Jesus gives us that life-giving water. In the waters of baptism, he cleanses us of our sins, and he makes us his own children and heirs to heaven. And along the way, we have to be faithful. He has that bond with us. So we're here tonight to remain faithful with God, to receive everything we can from him, because only from him will we get to the fountain of everlasting life in heaven. Let us stand and offer our prayers and petitions.